good morning, and thank you for joining us today on The Insight. Today, we'll take a unique approach into examining the happenings in Nigeria. As Nigeria approaches the 2027 general election, there is growing concern that the country is quietly shifting towards a one-party state dominated by the All Progressive Congress, APC. Recent high-profile defections, including governors from Enugu and Bayelsa states, the ruling party have intensified fears of diminishing opposition and political competition. Criticism and critics warn this trend threatens Nigeria's democracy, stifles dissent, and risks slipping into authoritarianism. Supporters argue these shifts reflect a collective confidence in APC's leadership. Today, we'll explore the implication of this political consolidation for Nigeria's democratic future, governance, and the voice of its diverse people by seeking answers to Nigeria's quiet shift. Is one-party rule taking hold? And helping us to find answers and x-ray on these issues is Professor J.C. Chukwuokolo, a professor of philosophy and philosophy of development from Ebonyi State University, Abakaliki. Prof, thank you for coming on The Insight.
Thank you. Good morning, and our audience, we appreciate you.
All right. Prof, let's just go straight to it for want of time. With APC now controlling more states and winning many off-season elections, is Nigeria quietly becoming a one-party state?
Let me start by looking at the essence of political parties all over the world. Political parties are supposed to be ideological, an amalgamation of people seeking to advance a certain ideological base once they win election. Unfortunately, you see, what is obtainable in Nigeria is not that. What is obtainable here is interests that a few people have, some people have, in order to win an election and get the perks of office. And that's exactly what we have been seeing. Unfortunately, also, because of it, and because of the apparent lack of ideology, you can never look at a political party in Nigeria as they are supposed to be. So parties don't, they have those writings in their books, but those who manage them do not show very serious commitment to ideologies. If you draw contrasts with the American system, where we have decided to anchor our system in the presidentialism, you will find out that they have two major political parties. Not that they don't have others, but those two major political parties are ideologically based. That's why you can hear that somebody has been in this party for over 30 years. He's still in the party because that's where his ideology aligns. Now, when you come to Nigeria, my major concern is, do we even have, how many political parties do we have? One. In the ab initio, because what it may be, all these people you are seeing in APC, 90% of them were in PDP when PDP held sway. If for any reason now Labour starts holding sway, all of them will get into it. So that is the challenge. So I think what we should look at first of all is the ideological concern. So if the ideological concerns are raised up, and which I think the youths, I challenge them to get involved, not this issue of where do I stay to get the national cake. If we don't get to that point, I have nothing to say about this drift you are talking about to a one-party state, because we have always been.
Okay. We've always been a one-party state.
in the sense
Okay. And
of no ideology. I mean, all the ideologies the same thing.
okay.
The only thing is that we have different camps.
Okay. So we are safe to say that these are different camps in the quest for national cake.
Cake, simple.
Okay. But Prof, going forward, I would want to know, when can we really say that political dominance has crossed into the line of dictatorship?
Well, when it happens, what we are seeing from 2015 up to today has every tendency of dictatorship, because when people fail to obey the laws, the only difference between dictatorship and democracy is the rule of law. So if people fail to allow their constitutions to, dictate what happens, then forget about it. So I think that from that time up to now, we are gradually getting to its crescendo, where people will decide to do whatever they like. Look at what happened in Rivers State. Unfortunately also, or fortunately, the vice president, in the launch of the book of the former Attorney General Adoke, I think God forced him to say what he was saying, or what he said, that we had the challenge that when he was governor of Borno State, that the then sitting president wanted to remove him from office the way Tinubu removed Sim Fubara. But that the Attorney General insisted that the president didn't have that powers to do that. So Jonathan obeyed the law when the Attorney General advised him. But what is happening today? Whenever you want anything you feel, you see, they will do it. And unfortunately, it is so appalling that where we are, the leaders, so to say, will decide anything they like once they can enforce it. And that's why people have brought this new concept of state capture, in our lexicon now, that the current people have captured, it has done what they call state capture. So now, any situation, if we don't have, the point I'm making is that if we don't obey our laws, no matter the guys, we're in dictatorship.
Okay. Yes. But can we rightfully say that presently what we are witnessing, not just dictatorship at the center, but a dictatorship of the majority?
No. What is the majority? It's a few people taking over what is going on. How many of us are involved in this? Abraham Lincoln, when he defined democracy as the government of the people, for the people, and by the people, he meant that we all should get involved. Let me ask you, I don't know, but that's my own view. And El-Rufai, who was part of that election, El-Rufai, who was part of it, came on air the other time to say that 2023 election, P2B won. If we cannot come to a point in any society where the citizens determine who rule them, forget about it. There's no, you are not practicing democracy.
Okay.
Because except you determine, I don't have problem if you become if I vote you in, if majority of the people, because I'm talking of majoritarianism as you are talking, if all of us, if we cannot determine who becomes our president, governor, or our politicians, House of, every elected position, so if we can't determine that by the dint of hard work of the votes of the people, then there is nothing majority is saying about it. It's only a few that determine who gets what, where, and how. But if we do it, you might put you into power and you decide to become more than us. We leave you and wait for you during the next election where the institution is like that. But where it is not like that, I don't think there is any need to use the word majoritarianism or majoritarian rule. Not at all.
All right. Prof, I know you've spoken to lack of ideologies and that we should rather face, the emphasis should be on having a system or a structure that would let the people's votes, mindset, and mandates count. Now, but I want to know your view, given that that's the wave in Nigeria today. In the news today, we've heard that Governor Doedri of Bayelsa State has resigned from the PDP, though he has not mentioned where in particular he will be moving. In River State, there are feelers that the governor of River State, Governor Sim Fubara, will equally soon toe the line of moving to APC. In Enugu State, is already a celebration of the governor and all the elected and appointees moving over to APC. There are feelers when you move up north that the governor of Taraba State, Governor Abu Kefas, is warming up with the governor of Plateau. Moving over to Kano, Kano is not equally left behind. So when you traverse across the federation, it's all moves to go into the ruling APC. And Prof, I want to get your honest and in-depth review of these movements, of these defections from the APC, from the PDP to the APC.
I don't have, it's only that maybe you people don't understand Nigerian politicians. I have nothing, it's not surprising to me. To start with, what happened in River State was a pointer to the fact that a lord is in charge of the manor. And politicians, the only thing they do is that they're interested in winning elections. And that is their destiny in Nigeria. So don't blame anybody who is moving from one political party to another. The essence of it is that the reason is I have seen somewhere that I'm going to stay to win election. And so he goes to that place. It gets back to what I said, that there is lack of ideology. Must you win? If you are ideologically based, what you will want to do is, I want to stay and be able to ensure that this is what I want to do for my people based on the political party that can help me curry those ideological bias. But you see, when you are interested in that you must win election, so any place and opportunity you see that you can go, you go to it, especially when it appears that what politicians are in for in Nigeria is to win. So don't blame anybody. What they have seen, you have not seen it. They understand that the forces are against, the odds are against them. Some people are alleging that the ruling party has captured every other person. And I recall the immediate past chairman of the party, Ganduje. Ganduje was very clear in one of his statements that soon everybody will join APC. They want a one-party state. But I have no problem with that. Let them try. It may even, who knows, be better for the masses. Because when all of them are in one basket, there's this thing they normally tell us that if you put this soldier ant or the other one inside one place, no, but if you shake it somehow, there will be kata. So when they get to that place and the same interests, vaulting interests, start clashing, we will see how they will tear themselves again. But I don't know. I also feel that the Nigerian citizenry is not doing enough.
Okay.
Because we have, all of us own a patrimony. And less than 1% of the people are taking the thing, and we are looking at them complaining. Do you know how hard things are in this country? And every other day you read that things are getting better. I normally doubt. How do you see, what are the indices that things are getting better? Look at as it is, quietly, Nigerian academics have down to, since 2009, they have been discussing with governments on how to, there was an agreement in 2009, and since that time up to today, nothing has happened, no review, nothing. And you can see the vehemence with which federal government reacts when ASU says it wants to down its tools. 1 week is almost gone now. What you have seen is threats. What will this threat do? What will it do? And the points are very clear that the Nigerian universities are no longer competitive. If you see, most people who are still here are people who either they love this country or they don't have means of living. Otherwise, small universities outside Nigeria here, what they pay, Nigeria is the least paid university in the whole of Africa. So where are the indices? Government, I'm not saying Tinubu started everything.
Yes.
I'm not saying so. But government is a cumulative effort. You must take the assets and liabilities. So when you have met some things, you should brace up to do things. Do we see these commitments? I don't think we do. So Nigerians are left with the point or the option of saying enough is enough. I have seen a lot of people, as small as lecturers are, everybody knows that we are not paid properly. I don't think there is any professor, even professor at the bar, collects up to 550,000. I don't think so. There is any. Yet people think because you are, and you know what it takes to get to that point. A lot of years. You can't do it in less than 10 years after you have got to your PhD. Now, if you are lucky, you got it through that point, how are you going to survive with your people? Yet, that's why when we were smaller, I know that at the University of Nigeria those days, we had some foreign people who were lecturers. I doubt whether there is any Nigerian university you can get foreign people these days because it's no longer competitive. The point I'm making is that we, the citizens, should change our style, because if you have something in common with somebody and that person decides to be taking it alone and you leave him, it will continue. But if you say enough is enough, see what happened during that NSAS period. Even though that it was infiltrated, there was, it helped in some reforms. Immediately, SARS was disbanded, and it was then we started hearing of all kinds of things that people passed through, during that their ignoble regime. So the point I'm making is we must, as a matter of urgency, decide. There's this proverb in Igbo that if a young man who is a bachelor does not behave in a mad way, the kindred will not insist that he gets married. So if we don't become very serious in terms of what is difficult in these things, we have enough resources. Mauritius here is a very organized economy. What do they have? Only sugarcane. But there's nothing God didn't bless Nigeria with. It's only management. Why is it that we have decided, as our leaders have decided, that things will continue to go down, nosedive? If we're able to get the electioneering process correct, we'll get every other thing correct in our democracy. I say this because if we have the powers to remove our leaders after every 4 years, you will see that anybody who gets into power will do better. That is why any place that you see a governor being elected by the state, that state performs well. Look at Abia State. Abia looked like there were costs, but today, I don't know whether I've ever gone to Abia. Of course, you're a journalist, you know what is going on. So you will see that that area, a lot of things are changing. I'm not saying it is Uhuru yet, but you see that this man knows that he is with the people, and the people voted him, that if he doesn't do well, well, he will get into trouble. He is doing a lot very well. So that's the way I look at these things.
Prof, to digress a bit, while we were talking, you mentioned that the citizens are not doing enough. Yes, the SARS protests and all that ended the way it ended. And I know that that may not be the line to toe. But in your opinion, what should the Nigerian citizens do categorically to engineer the kind of civil change that we need?
You see, I know enough world history to know that monarchy, for instance, Europe had a lot of monarchical system. France, for instance, they were dealing with their people because monarchs are absolutists. So they declare what they want and they do it. But at a point, things got so bad that the citizens came up and said, no, enough is enough. And that was how monarchy ended. So what Charlemagne, I think Charlemagne was the last monarch. He was in charge of what they call the Carolingian Renaissance. But at a point, the people felt this thing wouldn't work, and they came out. The unfortunate thing is that there will be bloodshed, though, because government has police, they have army, they have all these instruments of coercion. They have. And they will resist, because if you are enjoying something you feel is a privilege and somebody wants to remove you from it, you will certainly resist. But if the people understand it very well and say, look at what we want, it can happen. It happened both in France, it happened in Britain, it happened in a lot of places. Even America we are talking of together today. America at a stage had what they call the 100-year war or something. And after it, the 12 colonies came and said, look, enough is enough. And they decided sincerely on how they will go ahead. Ours is that people fail to sincerely do their things. They keep manipulating in a way, but because they know that we are not, the citizens are not organized. If the citizens become organized, the office of the citizen is bigger than that of the president. Yes, because the citizens, let's assume we have 1 million soldiers and we have over 200 million Nigerians, and the citizens come out to protest. I didn't say violent protest, just come out to protest. Okay, let's assume that all the people living in this Obiago, Abakwe, Enugu here come out. What do you think the soldiers will do? You keep shooting until you get tired. I don't know whether you understand. That's one. Two, these people, the soldiers, the police, the paramilitary people, they don't go to different markets than we do. They feel what we feel. I know when it happened in Egypt, when the revolution happened, it was Nasser who organized that one. Even the people were saying, oh, the soldiers were even saying, if it is Nasser that said we should do it, we'll do it. You will see that kind of thing because they know that the markets, they also go to the same market, they take the same transportation and all these things. The hardship is on everybody, but nothing has happened. So the citizens should first of all organize themselves. And like I said, if you are doing this organization, I think it was Karl Marx. I think it was Karl Marx who said that the tree of liberty will be watered by the blood of tyrants. What it means is that you can't get liberty without people resisting. And if they resist, there's a point where it will get to those who are resisting, the citizens will outweigh them. And I also know that, look at what happened, even recently, the one that happened in,
Nepal?
no, this one that, this president that ran to Russia from this Arab, why am I forgetting? He had the issue with Assad.
Okay, Assad.
You see, Assad, the pressure
Syria.
became, Syria, the pressure became more. He ran away. So if the people can say, if we're sincere that we want this country to get better, do you know the insult our people are receiving now in Ghana? Me, when we were small in the mid-80s, you know this bag? Ghanaians were everywhere here in Enugu because their country was not working until this guy came, J.J. Rollins, had decided to carry out the revolution he did and set the foundation. And Ghanaians started moving back. How many Ghanaians do you still have in Nigeria now? How many? It's Nigerians that are getting to that place. So I'm saying that it is a trite history that we know. And it's not something that is too difficult. It's only commitment, if we are committed. And there's something I read, somebody was saying in TV the other day, that Nigerians are so divided along ethnic and religious lines such that they cannot come together. But I know it's not true. Those things are just, because this 2023 election, I was surprised with the outcome. The whole of Middle Belt, no matter how you try to see it, the votes that came from the Middle Belt, those things, even Lagos, every other, even Kano, the thing surprised me that religion did not play a lot of roles in that, even ethnicity, because Nigerians are getting to a point where they understand that these gimmicks can no longer work for them.
All right, Prof. But beyond the revolution way, can't we be able to achieve that through the ballot as citizens?
It appears you don't understand me. I am talking of revolution by ballot. I'm not talking of any other kind of thing. But the people must know that you will resist if they insist that they give you who you didn't vote for.
Okay.
So that's the point. The major thing in any democracy is the ballot. But the point now is that, like Stalin will say, that those who matter in most cases are those who count the votes. So if you do not come to a point where those who count the votes will understand the implications of counting wrongly, then they will keep counting it the way they like. Come to think of it, if you were this man that Tinubu has nominated, Amopitan, as INEC boss, if you were him, somebody appointed you and is giving you the whole protections where we cannot, the citizens cannot give to you, and is giving you a lot of money, it will be difficult for you to work for the people. So the point I'm making is that I think it is flawed that the president should be appointing INEC leadership.
Okay.
Can't we find means of, so when you are talking of ballot revolution, how can you do that when the people determine who, the leader, the president determines who gets into that position? It will be difficult. But if there are transparent other means of getting such people, where power should lie, if sovereignty lies on the people, power lies on the people, then you will you will see that such a person will not do the bidding. But see, the president gives them money they used to work, gives them security, and they think it will. The structure is such that it will be as it is.
All right.
So we have to engage on that structural change.
Okay. All right, Prof. One may want to believe that what happened in 2015 may not be able to happen again, where the opposition was able to move the ruling party away.
We're all adults in this country. What did the opposition do? America, Britain came here and removed Jonathan. Is it not clear to everybody? By that time, you saw that the army were there in Ghana, were there in the north, and in the border countries. That morning, by 11, the American ambassador was already saying that, by that time I've not voted, but by that 11 a.m., they were saying they saw this, and they were threatening Jonathan. They would do this, they would do that. So, and if you have read Jonathan's book, you understand what happened. So let's forget about it. Imagine where Zeroid, who was Obama's chief strategist and campaigner, was in Nigeria, coordinating those things. Can you do that in their own country? So forget about it. We know what happened at that time, and we shouldn't waste our time that they can. Right. If they don't add their own strength, it will not happen.
Okay. Prof, but with the fractured opposition, leadership crisis, and defections across opposition political parties, can Nigerians expect a genuine political competition in 2027?
Where the main opposition, like I said before, will be intra-party opposition.
Okay.
So, because that's what has even led to all these defections. So it will come. Right. If we have viral, strong intra-party opposition, it will come. So that's my own way of looking at that. Right. Because, like I said, the whole political parties, we have judicial word, but the only thing is that they have camps. And they have different names, one in terms of ideology.
Okay. On that note, Prof, we'll go on a short break. And when we return, we'll continue to x-ray these issues. Thank you for staying with us. And we've been x-raying the Nigeria's quiet shift. We're asking the question, is Nigeria becoming a one-party rule? And with us x-raying these issues is Professor J. Chidozie Chukwuokolo, Professor of Philosophy and Philosophy of Development, Ebonyi State University. Prof, let's bring it home to Enugu State. On Tuesday, we saw the governor, all the elected officials and appointees of the governor leaving PDP for the APC. Now, I want to ask, what is the implication of this exit? What does it signal for the Southeast? You know, Southeast has been the stronghold of the PDP over the years. And with the exit of Enugu State, which is the last man standing, what do you see as the implication of this for Southeast and the future identity of Southeast politically?
Well, I'm not a politician, but I have very strong political interest in the sense that I'm an observer, a very serious one. Let me even ask, what did Southeast gain from PDP in the first instance? except that those who were there became billionaires of their own with very minimal um, benefit from our people as a people. So it gets back to what I have said before, that there is no political ideology, and you don't blame Governor Mba. If you are looking at the point that if you stay where you are, you won't get second tenure, why not change ship? I think that's what has happened. PDP has become, um, have been captured by the ruling APC, and all kinds of avoidable crises are there. The constitution is so clear that the party faithful determine who becomes their leader. And the party said, these are the people who are leaders. They went to court and changed it to other people that are sympathetic to APC. The essence, to me, is to weaken the PDP. And that has happened. But if it were political parties that have ideologies that are different, I tell you, they will stay there and continue to rebuild. But you see what I have said, that the ideology is just get power so that you'll be able to get some of the perks of office. So the implication to us to start with as Southeast people is one, yeah, there is no serious basis for it to get anything. Well, people are positioning. The leaders are positioning. Our own people also, I don't blame them, follow their leader. That's what they do. And that's why I say there's no ideology. If I join a political party on ideological base, like what happened in Akwa Ibom State, the governor left. I think 4 of their commissioners said, well, we are PDP people. We are resigning from your destiny as commissioners. I'm not talking of the other people who are here, who in the House of Reps and various appointees. Well, I learned that some people refuse to move to it. So what is the essence of all these things, other than to just queue up and get into power? That's all. So I think that what will happen is anybody who is committed, if he gets into power, maybe through that way he can be helping our people no matter how small he is doing. But over and above that, I don't think it has any serious implication for anybody. The PDP started getting into very serious crisis when, instead of following their zoning arrangement, that somebody from Southeast should take their ticket in 2023, they decided to play the ostrich. This is the implication of the ostrich they have played. So I don't think there is any implication for our people in that sense, because PDP ab initio has chased us out of the party.
Okay. You know, you've raised a very pertinent question by saying, what did the Southeast gain from PDP? And I want to ask, do you see perhaps trickles of development coming to Southeast, being that Enugu State, Ebonyi State, Imo State, and perhaps Abia State may soon toe the same line, and now in APC? Do you see trickles of development coming to the Southeast as a result of that?
My friend, there is no any development, anything. In Nigeria, the way the power calculus and the equation is that you must, as a matter of fact, hold the ace. That is to say, become president. If you become president, if you look at what Tinubu is doing for his people, you will know quietly, but he's building them economically. If he likes, he will build infrastructures. So you can't get no trickle. We don't need trickle, because the people who are uniting Nigeria, developing Nigeria, are Southeast. How many non-Southeastern is living in the whole of Southeast? But go to other zones, you see the number of people living in all those places. What does it show you? That these people are using their blood and toils to develop this country. And if that is the case, they should have the shops at the apex. That's the essence of this federal character and all these other things we had before. So there is no way, the way politics is played in Nigeria, there's no way anything can come to you if you are not the president. So if we can't become the president, nothing. And I think some of the people, gladiators of APC in Southeast, are saying that why they move to APC is to position themselves so that one day they will become president. Who knows? But I know that there will be internal contradiction also that will dialectically dismember them. They will start looking for other political parties to stay. That's what they do.
All right. Prof, you know, why you were talking, you said until a Southeasterner becomes a president, and they should, then one now begins to recall the words of a former president that he would face those that gave him majority of the votes, speaking to our late president, Muhammadu Buhari. And then, during the build-up to the 2023 election, we heard the president say, bread that will be soaked in tea, meaning that he will face where the votes come from, and if you do not vote, they will only compensate you with a slice of bread soaked in tea. But one would assume that with the alignment from the East now, that perhaps that could see a push for those votes to go to APC and engineer development.
I have told you that here, let me make it clear. In Nigeria here, it's so clear that people personalize leadership. Those votes do not amount to anybody. Who does their vote count? So why are you deceiving yourself about vote? The point is, if people are interested, the president is the person who shares these things the way he likes. If he likes your face, they will allocate some things to you. I was, I followed this road. I went to 2 conferences this October. One in Makode, one in Lokoja. And these roads were terrible. Even though some portions of it, especially in the Makode-Enugu axis, are under construction. But I was asking myself, why should a nation allow itself, their infrastructures, especially road infrastructures, to decay to this point before they start working on it? It is terrible. And it's not as if we don't have revenue here and there. So for me, those things you are talking about, developments, what do you even call development? So the indices and the index of development is determined by the personalization of power in this place. That's why I said any zone that gets its presidency the way it looks, you see them start moving. Their own area will start developing, and this is what has been going on. So I'm not a pessimist. I'm very optimistic that this place called Nigeria might, once it goes through its full cycle of pains as it is going on, one guy was saying that it appears that most African presidents enjoy inflicting pains on their citizenry, because when you look at these things, you'll be surprised. But I don't share that idea. But it appears that the pains are too much on the citizenry. And development, like I said, the way it is going, it's only when you become president, you allocate resources the way you like to your people. Even though I'm sure that no Igbo man will do that kind of thing, because the Igbo man is more metropolitan in his mindset. But see all the other presidents that we have had, they tried to develop their own zones, And that's why I think it was United Nations, UNDP, that time said that Buhari told them clearly to be developing Northwest and the North. So he's a journalist. Several, if you Google it, you see it. So he responded because of that way, because they don't see Nigeria as their own. If we see, if all these people look at all of us as brothers, look at what Buhari was doing, developing Chad, no, Niger. And when they asked him, he said that they are his relations. And you, who are down here, who he believes you are not his relations, how will he develop your own area? So these things are what we must tell ourselves the truth, because that's the thing. It's only truth that can save us. So, but if we are lucky, the prayer Nigerians should do and work for it is to get leaders who are, really patriotic, who see Nigeria as their own and not from the ethnic divide. Then we will get better. But if it is as it is, the only way people can develop here is when you get somebody from your zone. He gets into power, he starts putting some things in your own area. So that is it.
All right. One more question before I ask you the final one out of the script. Prof, we are talking about Enugu State. There are many analysts who have the view that Governor Peter Mba, decamping from PDP, given the dynamics of Enugu State politics from 2000 to date, that's what he has done by moving to APC is a political suicide.
I have told you that politicians are interested in winning election. It is no suicide, anything. He wants to win election. And he sees glimmer of hope and chances, better chances in APC. Why not he go there to get his second term? That's the point. So anybody who is saying he has committed suicide may not see, I don't know what is pursuing him. I don't know the challenges he has, but I know that he wants to win second term. And that's why he has joined the bandwagon. And there's always this bandwagon effect, in doing those type of things. So for me, everybody is entitled to his or her own opinion, but I don't think this is suicidal. I don't think so.
All right. Prof, finally, before I let you go, with the alignments, defections, realignments, and everything, what do you think is the chance of Peter Obi come 2027?
I don't know. But what I can say is that in my own assessment, Obi is amongst the so-called gladiators. Obi appears to be the one who understands most what is required for Nigeria to get better. And if it were in climes where people follow what is for the best interest of the people, we should win. But the fundamental thing I raised before is who counts this vote? You can do all your voting and then the votes are dumped and another thing is written and all those type of things. So until we get it right, that the process of institutional appointment of those in INEC gets better and is removed from the president and cannot be fired by the president. Don't you know that if INEC chairman decides to do otherwise, he can be fired. And if he's fired, he might be blackmailed into a lot of things, So the process of appointment, the process of duty, and all these things are not, I don't think it guarantees who wins, who the people votes, and all those types. There are more things than the ordinary eye sees. So I think that P2B is, in my own assessment, the most appropriate person, but the things here, Let's see how it goes.
All right. On that note, this is where we'll draw the curtain today on the insight. And we've been speaking to Professor J.C. Chidozie Chukwu Okolo, a professor of philosophy and philosophy of development, Ebonyi State University, Abakaliki. Prof, it's been a pleasure listening to you deflect hypotheses and raise awareness why we need to shift to ideological politics and citizens' awareness. It's a real pleasure, Prof. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me and the audience. I am challenging all of us to be more citizen conscious. Thank you.
All right. But do remember that on the insight, your opinion, our audience, matters to us. So do remember to reach us with the hashtag The Insight, all at Aneke TV on Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube to come your way same time tomorrow. I remain your host, Uche Osai. Bye-bye.